Good morning everybody. Welcome to this probably 5th class of this series of electricity and magnetism. I am Dr. R. K. Mishra. Today we will make some more discussion on field, potential, the relationship between them and how the static electric field behaves, and then we will discuss about one of the most fundamental equation in electrostatics, that is Laplace equation. There is another equation, Poisson's equation, and then some properties of Laplace equation. Okay. So far we have discussed about electric field, Coulomb's law, Gauss' law and its application, and in the last class we discussed about some of the mathematical tools which we use to study electrostatics problems. Okay. So, let us have some discussion over those mathematical tools, then we will proceed to discussion on field and potential. So far we know that electric field, which is a vector quantity, can be expressed as the negative gradient of electric potential. So, the electrical environment of a charge or any charge distributions are characterized by two fields. One is vector field, that is electric field, another is scalar field, that is electric potential. And electric field permits the scalar potential and potential guarantees electric field, and they are related by E is equal to minus grad V, and we have already discussed what is the physical meaning of gradient. It is the rate of change of a scalar quantity with respect to position, and it has a direction, the direction in which this rate of change is maximum. Okay. And in the reverse way, the potential can always be expressed as the line integral of, it is always expressed as the line integral of electric field. Okay. So, these are the two relationships. Then we have discussed about some integral theorems. In the last class we discussed about some two important integral theorems, that is, one is Gauss divergence theorem, which relates your surface integral with volume integral. The surface integral of electric field over a closed surface is equal to the volume integral of divergence of electric field over the volume. Let us write the volume as tau over the volume which is enclosed by the closed surface. This is Gauss divergence theorem. It relates surface integral to volume integral. And there is another theorem called Stokes theorem, which says the line integral of a vector around a closed path is equal to the surface integration of the curl of the vector over the surface. And in the last class we discussed how this del operator operates via dot product and cross product. When it operates via dot product over a vector, it gives you divergence, which physically says how much flux is coming out per unit volume, and this del operator operates or acts upon a vector quantity through cross product, which we call curl, and it shows how the vector circles about a point. Okay. And we will use this mathematical or vector algebra here, and let us now prove the conservative nature of electrostatic field with the help of these mathematical theorems. And let me repeat what we know about the conservative nature of a field. We say a field is conservative when the work done by the force is independent of path, or in other way we can say the work done by the force around a closed path is always 0. It does not depend upon the path, it depends upon only the initial and final points. So, if we make a line integral around a closed path, it is 0. So, electric field is conservative if we can prove that the line integral of electric field around a closed path is 0. This suffices the proof of the conservative nature of electric field. And what do we mean by it? Electric field is the force per unit positive charge, and when we take the dot product of force with the displacement, it is work done, and when we integrate around the closed curve, it is the total work done in moving unit positive charge from one around the closed path, and that is equal to 0. This is what we mean by conservative nature of force. Let us prove it from the Stokes theorem. Okay. So, again let us start with a point charge. It is very convenient always to start with a point charge. For point charge, our electric field is of the form 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square into r cap, and for r cap we can write as vector r by magnitude of r. Every vector, every unit vector in a direction of the vector can be expressed as the vector divided by its magnitude. So, the field due to point charge is of this form q into vector r by r q by r square into, in place of unit vector r cap, we will write vector r by magnitude r. Okay. This r cap is replaced by vector r by magnitude r. Now, this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by q into vector r by magnitude r q, q of the magnitude r. Okay. Now, let us find out what is the curl of this vector E. So, this is equal to curl of q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by r q into vector r. Okay. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught, these are scalar quantities, I mean these are constant quantities, they do not depend upon this derivative. So, we can take this outside the derivative, so that it is q by 4 pi epsilon naught into curl of 1 by r q into vector r. Okay. 1 by r q is a scalar which is expressed in terms of magnitude of vector r, and vector r is the obviously position vector. So, we are now taking curl of a scalar into a vector. Now, we will use a theorem on vector algebra, that is curl of a scalar into a vector is equal to scalar into curl of the vector plus gradient of the scalar cross the vector. This is a theorem on vector algebra. We will use now it. Here phi is the scalar 1 by r q and a is the vector r. So, our curl of 1 by r q into vector r now becomes 1 by r q, that is scalar, into curl of the vector r plus plus gradient of this scalar 1 by r q cross vector r. Okay. Let us find out first what is the curl of r. Let this one is equation 1, this is now equation 2. Now, what is curl of r? We had already discussed about curl. It is the value of the this determinant I cap, j cap, k cap, del by del x, del by del y, del by del z, and the components of the vector, these are x, y, z, because r is the position vector. Here r is the position vector, this is the origin, this is r is the position vector of the point, this point has the coordinates x, y, z, and vector r is equal to I cap x plus j cap y plus k cap z, and magnitude of r is equal to x square plus y square plus z square to the power half. Okay. Now, this is equal to I cap into del by I cap into the determinant of this value I cap into del z by del y minus del y by del z minus j cap into del x by del z minus del z by del x plus k cap into del y by del x minus del x by del y. As x is independent of y, y is z independent of z, these derivatives are all 0 and this gives rise to 0. So, the curl of r is equal to 0, and in equation 2 our first term vanishes and we are left with the only second term. So, let us now find out what is the value of the second term. So, first let us find out what is this gradient of 1 by r cube, gradient of 1 by r cube, gradient of 1 by r cube, that is the value of gradient is I cap del by del x of 1 by r cube plus j cap del by del y of 1 by r cube plus k cap del by del z of 1 by r cube, okay, is equal to, let us first find out the first term, that is del by del x of 1 by r cube. What is r? It is x square plus y square plus z square to the power half. 1 by r cube is r to the power minus 3. So, this is equal to del by del x of x square plus y square plus z square to the power minus 3 by 2. Okay. R is that one, and r cube is this to the power 3 by 2, 1 by r cube is this to the power minus 3 by 2. And as you know the derivative of this is minus 3 by 2 into x square plus y square plus z square to the power minus 3 by 2 minus 1, that is minus 5 by 2 into derivative of this one with respect to x, that is 2x, 2 cancels out, that is equal to minus 3x into x square plus y square plus z square to the power minus 5 by 2. x square plus y square plus z square to the power half is r. So, this to the power minus 5 by 2 means this to the power minus 5. So, this is equal to minus 3x into r to the power minus 5, that is divided by r to the power 5. So, the derivative of this first term is minus 3x by r to the power 5. Similarly, del by del y of 1 by r cube will become minus 3y by r to the power 5, and del by del z of 1 by r cube is equal to minus 3z by r to the power 5. Therefore, gradient of 1 by r cube now becomes your minus I cap x by minus I cap 3x by minus I cap 3x by r to the power 5 minus j cap minus j cap this one 3y by r to the power 5, 3y by r to the power 5 minus k cap into 3z by r to the power 5. Okay. So, now taking minus common, we have now it is equal to minus 3 into I cap x plus j cap y plus k cap z by r to the power 5 is equal to minus 3 into vector r by r to the power 5, because I cap x plus j cap y plus k cap z is vector r. So, what we got, that is gradient of 1 by r q is equal to minus 3 r by r to the power 5. Okay. So, equation 2 now becomes curl of 1 by r q into vector r is equal to, this one is 0 and this term is minus 3 r by r to the power 5 cross vector r, that is equal to minus 3 by r to the power 5 into vector r cross r. The cross product of two equal vectors is 0. So, this is equal to 0. Okay. So, now equation 1 becomes our how much? This is q by 4 pi epsilon naught, that is curl of E is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught curl of 1 by r q into vector r, and curl of 1 by r q into vector r has two terms, that is 1 by r q into curl of r plus gradient of 1 by r q cross r. And what we found, the first term curl of r is 0, second term again also 0. Okay. So, the curl of 1 by r q into vector r is equal to 0. Okay. So, this is equation 2, and equation 2 now becomes curl of 1 by r q into vector r is equal to 0. This is equation 3, and putting equation 3 in equation 1, we get curl of E is equal to 0. Okay. So, this is a very important property of electric field. We found that the static electric field, if there is a static electric field, its curl is always 0. In case of time varying field, the things may be different, which is the basis of electromagnetic wave theory, but right now we will deal with only static electricity, and this is one of the very important property of static electric field, that curl of electric field is 0, curl of E is 0. Now, we will use Stokes theorem to arrive at the conservative nature of electric field using this formula, that is curl of E is equal to 0. And what Stokes theorem says? Stokes theorem says that the line integral of a vector, here we will take this vector as electric field, is equal to the line integral of the vector around a closed path is equal to the surface integral of curl of the vector around the surface which is enclosed by the curve S. S is the surface which is enclosed by the curve C. Now, here what is the value of curl E? We have found out this curl of E is equal to 0. So, this is equal to now 0, because curl of E is 0. So, we prove that line integral of electric field around a closed curve is equal to 0. This proves that field is conservative as per our definition. Remember, while calculating curl of E, we had taken a point charge. But this is true for any kind of static charge distribution, because we have number of times we have already discussed. Suppose there are number of point charges. According to superposition principle, the resultant electric field at a point is the vector sum of the fields due to each point charges, that is E 1 plus E 2 plus E 3 up to E say. So, if we take curl of E, it will be equal to curl of E 1 plus curl of E 2 plus curl of E 3 so on plus curl of E n, and every time these are the fields due to individual point charges, and as I already proved, this curl of E 1 is 0, curl of E 2 is 0, each term is 0 now, each term is 0 now. So, the total value is 0. Okay. So, if there are number of point charges, again curl of A is 0. If instead of being point charge distribution, the charge is distributed continuously over a surface, then the form of electric field due to the surface charge density or surface charge distribution will be in the form of will be expressed in the form of surface charge density. Okay. That is a function, say sigma, which is the surface charge density sigma, and if we take an length say surface area element ds, then sigma ds represents a point charge, and integrating over the surface, that gives you the total charge, and again the dependence on the position vector is the same, that is sigma ds into vector r by r cube, which is our vector actually r cap by r square. It is now written as vector r by r cube. And if we take curl of E, then again this is the curl of r by r cube, which this operates over curl of r by r cube will give you 0, as we have already discussed. If the charge is distributed over a volume, then the electric field will attain a form like this: E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The surface integration will become over a integration over volume tau, and the surface charge density will be replaced by a volume charge density function rho into d tau, but I mean this element is defined in terms of a different position vector, and the dependence of field on the position vector r is again in the form of the same vector r by r cube, whose curl is always 0. So, whether there is a surface charge distribution or a volume charge distribution or different a number of point charge distribution, every time the dependence of field is on the factor r by r cube, whose curl is 0. Therefore, curl of is always 0, and using Stokes theorem we find the line integral of electric field around the closed curve is always 0. So, this proves that electric field is a conservative field. Okay. Now, we will again use another important theorem of vector algebra. What is that? That is the double operation. Curl of gradient of a scalar is always 0. We had discussed it in the last class. Curl of gradient of a scalar is always 0. Curl of gradient of a scalar is always equal to 0. So, if curl of a vector is 0, then it definitely permits us to express the vector in terms of the gradient of a scalar. So, that curl of gradient of the scalar is 0. So, this equation curl of E is equal to 0 permits us to express E as the gradient of a scalar function called potential B. So, we can express E as minus grad of B. The negative sign comes as a convention, but E is the E is expressed as the gradient of potential. Okay. So, curl of electric field is 0 because it is conservative in nature. Static electric field is curl of static electric field is 0 because of its conservative nature, and this permits us to express electric field as the gradient of a potential. And of course, B guarantees that curl of E is equal to 0, because E is the relationship between field and potential we have already established this one, that E is equal to minus grad V. So, if E is equal to grad V minus grad V, then curl of E is curl of minus grad V, that is equal to curl of grad of V, and curl of grad of a scalar is always 0. So, these are the two-way relationship. Okay. So, we have again established the relationship between field, potential and the conservative nature of field, and how the field can be a static electric field can always be expressed as the gradient of a negative gradient of a scalar potential. Now, we will find another important differential equation, that is Poisson's equation, and then Laplace equation in electrostatic field. We will start with Gauss law. In the last class, we have proved or we have found out the differential form of Gauss law, that is divergence of electric field E is equal to rho by epsilon naught. What is rho? Rho is the volume charge density. Divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon naught. This is the differential form of Gauss law. Divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon 0. This is the differential form of Gauss law. This we have already proved it. Now, let us take the double del operation over it. In the last class, we have expressed that divergence of gradient of a scalar quantity, say V. We have proved it in the last class that when this del is operated twice in this way via divergence. Divergence of gradient of a scalar, it gives you del square V. What is del square? Del square is the Laplacian operator. It is in the Cartesian coordinates, it is del square by del x square plus del square by del y square plus del square by del z square. Okay. We have now established that electric field is the negative gradient of potential V. V is the scalar quantity. Let us put this value of V in this differential form of Gauss law. So, our Gauss law now becomes divergence of minus grad V, instead of E we will write it minus grad V is equal to rho by epsilon naught, and this implies this negative sign comes outside, divergence of gradient of V is equal to rho by epsilon naught, and this divergence of grad is, as I told, it is del square V. So, this implies minus del square V is equal to rho by epsilon naught, or del square V is equal to minus rho by epsilon naught. This equation, say equation 1, is called Poisson's equation. Poisson's equation. Okay. This is a very important equation. Del square V is equal to minus rho by epsilon naught. In dealing with electrostatic problems having charge density, we can directly put this Poisson's equation to find out the V, and once we found the potential V, we can always express electric field by taking the gradient of V. Okay. And this del square, it is not necessary that del square should be always expressed in terms of Cartesian coordinates. Okay. It is according to our convenience, as the symmetry permits, we take the coordinate system accordingly. I mean, if there is a spherical kind of symmetry of charge distribution, we will prefer Laplace equation or this Laplacian operator, del square operator in terms of spherical coordinate system. If there is a cylindrical symmetry, we will prefer this del square to be expressed in terms of cylindrical coordinate system. We know these are three orthogonal curvilinear coordinate systems, spherical coordinate system and cylindrical coordinate system. And in spherical coordinate system, we define a point in space on the surface of a sphere having coordinates, that is radius r and angle theta, and of course, that in azimuthal angle phi, r theta phi. And in cylindrical coordinate system, we express it, the point on the surface of a cylinder, okay, so that there is a radius rho as a coordinate and angle phi of this plane. When that this half plane rotates about the axis, it covers a cylinder. So, angle phi, and of course, the height z from the xy plane, from the xy plane of the point. So, here in cylindrical coordinate system, we use the three coordinates, three mutually orthogonal coordinates rho phi z. The corresponding unit vectors are rho cap, phi cap, k cap. In spherical coordinate system, we express them in terms of r theta and phi. Radius, this is the polar angle theta, phi is the azimuthal angle. Okay. So, this is the angle of the cone theta, and this is the angle made by the plane with the xz axis, how much it rotates. Okay. And the unit vectors are r cap, theta cap and phi cap in the respective directions. So, this del square or the Laplace, the Poisson's equation, we can express in the three coordinate systems as our Laplacian operator takes in the all the three coordinates. In the Cartesian coordinates, it is del square v is equal to rho by epsilon 0 is equal to del square v by del x square plus del square v by del y square plus del square v by del z square is equal to minus rho by epsilon 0. In spherical, this is in Cartesian coordinate system. This is in Cartesian coordinate system. In spherical coordinate system, this del square v is equal to 1 by r square del by del r of r square del by del r of v plus 1 by r square sin theta del by del theta of sin theta del v by del theta plus 1 by r square sin square theta del square v by del phi square. This is equal to minus rho by epsilon naught. This is in terms of spherical coordinate system. Spherical coordinate system. Okay. The Poisson's equation in spherical coordinate system. And in cylindrical coordinate system, this del square v is equal to 1 by rho del rho of rho del by del rho of v plus 1 by rho square del square v by del phi square plus del square v by del z square, that is equal to minus rho by epsilon naught. This is Poisson's equation in cylindrical coordinate system. Cylindrical coordinate system. Poisson's equation in cylindrical coordinate system. Okay. So, these are the three different coordinate system in which we express the Poisson's equation, and we solve it with proper boundary conditions to get the potential. For example, in one dimensional Cartesian coordinate system, we will have only the Poisson's equation will be del square V by del x square is equal to minus rho by epsilon naught. Okay. We can apply this Poisson's equation for different electrostatics problems. As an example, we can apply it to one dimensional Cartesian equation to p-n junction. Okay. We will discuss in the next class how this can be applied to a p-n junction even. Okay. And then we will discuss about the more fundamental equation, that is Laplace equation, when there is volume charge, the volume charge density rho is 0 in many points of the region. Okay. So, these are the things we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.